Ever wanted to see the artwork for the original TV series but never had the chance to? Well, now you can help to make it happen. Robert Gold Galliers has recently expressed an interest in creating a coffee table book with all drawings for the Thomas & Friends TV series and possibly Tugs and Jack and the Sodor Construction Company. SIF staff member Nicholas has created a petition online to highlight the interest in such a book, but we need your help to make this dream a reality. Just sign the petition today for a chance to make your voice heard. Link is in the description. I am me. Later that day, the Fin controller arranged for all the other engines to gather at the sheds. I have some special news for you all, he said. This year is to be our last year hosting the gala for the Fin clergyman's books. The engines were dismayed. Why is that, sir? Asked Rheneas. Because the license for us to hold the event has run out, the Fin controller said simply. A sizable portion of the executives from the TV company have decided it is too expensive to let us keep using their material and have decided not to renew the license. The owner has made countless attempts to keep these arrangements, but all to no avail. The engines were disappointed. But that's not the only reason as to why this gala event is special, said Miss Els, stepping forward. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the Fin clergyman's books. To commemorate this, we shall be hosting the gala event for 3 days instead of 2. The engines felt somewhat happier at this news. Therefore, the Fin controller continued, we will be holding a much bigger event than ever before. But we need your help. We can't run this event without you. Do you promise to behave?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chorused the engines. Excellent, smiled the Fin controller. Now then, Sir Handel, you'll be hauling some special charter trains. These include an afternoon tea service based on the picnic of the Mid-Sodor line and a talking train service where a guest speaker will talk about the history of our railway and its links with the Fin clergyman. After this, on your last day, you will join everyone here at the wharf for a special photo opportunity. Be on your best behaviour and you will be repainted. Yes, sir, cheered Sir Handel. Duncan and Rheneas, you are to take care of the regular traffic. You will be able to haul passengers too, as part of the event, but it is still imperative that we don't let our customers down. I have also arranged for Mike to come and visit from the Arlesdale Miniature Railway to commemorate the legacy of the Fin clergyman's books, as none of the Fat Controllers or Culdee Fell Manager's engines can be spared. He is to be based around multiple stations along the line, so I will need you to help move him around. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, said Rheneas and Duncan. Peter, Sam and Fred, I will need you two to help with the passenger trains also. But you will have other duties too. Peter, Sam, you are needed to haul a special train based on the television train you took in the 50s. With pleasure, sir. Fred, you will be taking 1 passenger train a day. Just 1 train? Oh, thank you, sir, beamed Fred. And then take the wheat killer train as usual. Fred's face fell as fast as it had risen. Duke, you'll be running footplate rides in your cab along the wharf, Miss Els continued. I will give it my all, the old engine smiled. Excellent, Miss Els grinned. She turned to Rusty. Her face fell as she knew he would not like what came next. Rusty, you are to carry passengers on your maintenance train, wearing your TV series livery. There was a long silence. Rusty's face took on an expression of sadness. My TV series livery, he said. Orange, said Miss Els with an apologetic look on her face. Rusty looked down at his buffers. He muttered a quiet, "Must I?" "I'm sorry, Rusty," Miss Els replied. "Those orders come from Mr. Matt, and if he's in charge of this event, then our hands are tied in this." "I understand," said Rusty. He continued to gaze at his buffers. Miss Els wanted to say more, but couldn't think of anything that seemed appropriate at that time. The Fin Controller, however, could. "It won't happen until the first day of the Gala Event," he said. "We still need you to help set up the event. You'll be taking supplies up to Renaeus Station. We'll be setting up a model railway layout of Thomas's branch line there, along with a small display of artifacts about the books and TV series to accompany the larger display, which will be held in a tent here. And we'll still need you and the Permanent Way gang to make sure the track is in good condition for the event, so we can't possibly spare you for repainting until after the work is completed." "Thank you, sir," said Rusty, but he still felt sad. The Fin Controller noticed this, turned and walked away deep in thought. He wanted to cheer Rusty up somehow. Then his phone buzzed and he saw the text message he had received. He smiled. It would have to wait until the end, but it would be worth it. The next few days were very busy for the little engines. Up and down the line they would haul their trains, taking all the materials and artifacts to where they needed to be. The trucks and coaches were cleaned and polished like never before, and everyone worked hard making sure they knew just what they had to do. Tents were set up and quickly filled with the artifacts and model railway layouts. Mike was brought over on Bear's goods train and shunted into the siding next to the wharf, where he and Duke spent many a long hour talking and laughing whenever they could. Even the roads were busy, as Bertie and some of the other buses brought passengers and volunteers to and from the little railway. But Rusty was still miserable. He tried to put a brave face on his troubles, but he just didn't feel it. To make matters worse, Mr. Matt was worse than ever. "Set that tent up properly or I'll get someone else to do it," he would bark at the volunteers. "Get that stupid hair clip out of your hair or get another job," he would yell at a workman. "You're a man, so behave like a man," he would snap at Miss Els. This made her very upset. "I'm sorry you have to work for him," Rusty would say. "Oh, don't worry about me," she would reply. "Just focus on the task at hand." The first day of the Gala event arrived. It had been a lovely week up until then, with clear skies and bright sunshine. Now the clouds were thick and grey, blotting out the sun almost completely. But that didn't stop the little engines as they puffed proudly up and down the line with their visitors. Everyone agreed that this Gala event was most impressive. Everyone except Rusty. He sat in the workshop as his black coat was painted over in bright orange. His yellow lining gave way to white, and his brass number 5 was removed to make way for the same number to be painted on him instead. Aside from his buffers, the only parts of his body that were still black were his grille and cab roof. He felt worse and worse with each brush stroke. One of the workmen had their iPhone playing music while he was working. They were singing along to the tune. Rusty listened intently. He liked the tune and couldn't resist humming it himself. It means something to you too, huh? Rusty jumped and saw Miss Els leaning on the workshop door in the opening. Well, I just enjoyed the music, he replied. It's got quite a nice rhythm. What's it called? It's called I Am Me, Miss Els explained. It's from a musical called Starlight Express. I've always loved musicals, especially ones like this one. It's about a steam engine called Rusty. Seriously, she said, noticing his questioning look. And how he overcomes heavy competition in a big race. The song itself is performed by the coaches. They don't want to be defined by how they look, you see, and are proud of who they are. I wish more people were like that. Rusty could guess who she was talking about. Mr. Matt? He asked. Mr. Matt, she replied solemnly. He keeps picking on people who are different to him and want to express their differences. The way he spoke to you and forced you into this colour was absolutely horrible. And the way he talks to me, calling me all kinds of names. Why? Asked Rusty. Miss Els took a deep breath. Because I'm transgender, she explained. Trans what? Asked Rusty. Transgender, explained Miss Els. It means I identify as a different gender to the one I used to be. I was born a boy, but all my life I looked completely wrong. Like someone had been given all the wrong parts to make me with, or I was built to a faulty design. I felt so worried about telling someone that I kept it a secret for years. It almost drove me to suicide. But then I came across this musical called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It was about a group of friends who travelled to a resort in the Australian desert, staying true to themselves while facing severe opposition from others over the people they were. In fact, one of them was a trans woman too. It was that show, and others like Starlight Express, that helped me to realise that the only thing really stopping me from being who I wanted to be was myself. So I told my parents, and though they were shocked, they stood by me. I started to really dress how I wanted, act how I wanted, look and sound how I wanted. And do you know what? It made me happier than I had ever been in my whole life. Much like how you felt when you were painted black for the first time. But I faced a lot of adversity. People called me all kinds of horrible names. I don't want to say what they are. They're all far too hurtful. But I will say this. No matter what they called me or how many times they knocked me down, I got right back up again and carried on being who I was. If they didn't want me to be happy, that was not their choice to make. We should never have let Mr. Matt force you into this, Rusty. Take my advice. If anyone does try to do something like this again in the future, just look them in the eye and say no. Thank you, Miss Els, smiled Rusty. He began to feel a bit better now. Yes, thank you, came a voice. Rusty and Miss Els looked to see where it had come from. Mr. Matt had walked right up from the outside of the workshops and had overheard everything. You've given me enough evidence to prove that hiring a useless tranny like you was a complete waste of time and resources, Rusty gasped. Miss Els said nothing. She just looked down at her feet. A single tear told Rusty everything he needed to know. Get back to my office, now, barked Mr. Matt. Miss Els sniffed sadly and shuffled away. No one noticed that the Fin controller had entered the back of the workshop and was holding out his smartphone, recording everything. Mr. Matt turned back to Rusty. Now listen to me, you useless pile of scrap, he snarled. I earned good money from this miserable dump of a railway just for some stupid brat show taken from some god-awful tribe of a book series that by rights should never have been written. I won't be denied it by some stupid lump of metal that won't shut up and do what they're told. Either you go out there in that livery, or... He picked up a blowtorch and lit it. I'll see to it that you're taken out of service. Rusty gulped and said nothing. Good, said Mr. Matt, switching off the blowtorch and setting it back down again. And not a word about this to anyone, or else... He turned on his heels and left. The Fin controller, meanwhile, stopped recording the scene on his phone and made his way round to Rusty's front end. He had seen everything. He looked at the little diesel and saw the fear and sadness in his eyes. "Don't worry, Rusty," he said. "Nothing bad will happen to you. I've seen how he's treated everyone, and I've had enough of him. I'll see to it that the owner is informed. Miss Els will come to no harm either, I'll make sure of it. But I need your help urgently. Rheneas was supposed to take Mike back down to the wharf, but he's broken down. Ivor Hugh is already escorting him and his passengers home, but he is still needed to take his own passengers. We need you to take Mike home instead." Rusty wanted to say that he wasn't sure it was a good idea, until he remembered something. "I am me," he thought, "and that's all I need." "Right away, sir," he said. His driver climbed aboard his cab, and his engine started with a roar. He moved quickly out of the sheds and raced along the line. Up above, he could see the clouds had gotten heavier still. Eventually, he could feel the first few spots of rain. They splashed against his paintwork. It began to run off, but he kept on going. "I'm not stopping now," he thought. "If they don't like me in black, that's their problem." His wheels spun faster as he sped through the countryside. Suddenly, he felt different. Nothing mattered to him now, not even the threats of Mr. Matt. All he cared about was getting his task done. "Mike needs me," he thought, "and so does the Fin controller, and Rheneas, and Ivor Hugh. I cannot let them down." He rumbled over crossings and through stations. The rain still fell, getting heavier and heavier by the minute. He began to feel that all his troubles were being washed away. Indeed, the rain was so heavy, and his new paint had still been wet when he left the workshops, that it was now coming off him, showing his old livery underneath. Rusty saw this and grinned. "I'm back," he thought, and began laughing in joy. They found Mike at Skarloey station and wasted no time in coupling up to him. Mike was about to say something about being left out in the rain, but stopped. "Rusty," he started, "your paint, it's..." "I know," laughed Rusty. "It's wonderful." "No," cried Mike, "it's coming off." "Exactly," Rusty replied, "and I'm back in black again." Still laughing, he coupled up to the flat truck and pulled Mike back down the line. Mike wanted to say more, but couldn't think of anything to say. He could not describe it, but he had the feeling that something wonderful had happened. So he just smiled and watched on as Rusty practically skipped along the line. To the little diesel, it seemed as though the weather wasn't rainy at all. As he passed by every house, every tree, every flower, the world around him seemed to be more colourful and cheerful than ever before. All the grey that had inhabited the line with the wet weather seemed to disappear like a distant memory, replaced by a more vibrant world full of rainbows, joy and laughter. The other engines saw what was happening. They kept a clear line for the two engines and whistled loudly at Rusty as they passed. "Toot toot, thank you," Rusty tooted in reply. They soon arrived back at Crovan's gate, where a crowd of people waited to greet them. They stared in bafflement at Rusty. His orange livery was now completely ruined, yet here he was laughing like anything. But Rusty didn't care. He was back to his old livery and, "What the devil is this?" came a voice. Rusty snapped out of his reverie. An angry figure emerged from the crowd. It was Mr. Matt, and he was furious. "I gave you strict orders to stay in that livery, and you go ahead and ruin it!" He thundered at Rusty. "You are supposed to stay in that livery to look like your TV series model. Is it seriously so impossible for you useless machines to do a simple thing?" Rusty stared at him. No feelings of fear or sadness. "Sir," he said, "you know little of us engines. You come down here and order us around, never taking the time to consider our feelings. Then you force me into a livery that I never even wanted in the first place. For goodness sake, you are a machine!" bellowed Mr. Matt. "You don't have a say in what you look like. It's decided for you."
"An excellent employee, I'm glad
about
to
some
say,"
of your employees, like
retorted
Miss Ells
Mr. Matt.
too. And he's not a miss. He's a mister. If it takes sacking him just to get it into his
And that's because of people like me,
head,
isn't it?
I'd do it 100
came a
times
voice.
over. Mr. Matt turned round to see Miss Ells storming up to him. He wanted to say something right at that moment, but suddenly a voice played over the loudspeakers.
"You've given me enough evidence to prove that hiring a useless tranny like you was a complete waste of time and resources."
Mr. Matt froze. He blushed as he saw the crowd staring at him. He quickly regained his composure when he saw Miss Ells stop in front of him. He sneered at her. "You lot are pathetic," he jeered. "Trying to be something you're not. You're not even fit to be called people or engines. You're just a bunch of freaks who don't know what's good for you. If I had it my way, you'd all be rounded up and disposed of." "Shut up," said Rusty. There was a pause. "What did you say?" Mr. Matt whispered, as he turned slowly towards Rusty, an icy glare in his eyes. "I said, shut up!" Rusty continued. "We've had enough of you. Not content with ordering us about or forcing us into things we don't want to do, you constantly pick on anyone who has different ideas about who they want to be. You have no respect for others. You do not consider the fact that we look the way we do because it's how we see ourselves. Miss Ells is a woman, so she should be considered as such. I'm a black diesel engine and I prefer to stay that way. My TV series model is just that, a model. And even if they were a real engine, they would agree with me. If you don't like it, you pompous, bigoted excuse of an executive, then that's your own problem. Miss Ells has done a lot for us, helping to make sure we're clean and presentable for our trains. She deserves nothing but respect from all of us, including you. Either accept her for who she is or just leave her alone. It's the same for me. You can either accept me as I am or keep your foul opinions to yourself. But I am me, and that's all I need." The crowd started yelling in agreement with Rusty. Mr. Matt looked coldly at them all. The owner made his way to him. "I think your employers will be very interested to hear about this," he stated firmly. Mr. Matt sneered at him, but sensing that he would be strongly opposed by all present if he said anything else, he turned on his heels and walked crossly away. The owner then turned and looked at Rusty. "Your trains have been held up for long enough. I shall talk to you later, he said. He then beckoned to Miss Els. You, over here, he said to her. Miss Els gulped and made her way over to him. Rusty couldn't hear all of what they were saying, but he wasn't sure what to make of it. For the rest of the weekend, he clattered up and down the line taking passengers on the maintenance train. He began to feel better. Mr. Matt had not been seen since their confrontation, and everyone else had congratulated him on standing up to such a bully. But he was still worried. After all, he had disobeyed orders and delayed his trains that day. On the last evening, Rusty brought his train back down to the wharf. As he passed under the bridge and rounded the curve, he was surprised to see a great crowd of people gathered outside the shed. Everyone clapped and cheered as Rusty pulled in. "What's going on?" he asked. "You'll soon see," remarked his driver. Sure enough, the passengers gathered round all the other engines. Sir Handel, Duncan, Fred and Ivo Hugh had their photos taken from so many different angles that they weren't quite sure which way to look. Rheneas, Duke and Peter Sam, however, smiled and watched as Rusty approached them. Near the front of the crowd stood Skarloey's friend, Ali, who had come all the way from the mainland especially to visit the railway. And sitting on the line next to him, newly mended with brand new paint and freshly polished, was Skarloey. "The owner told me everything," he said. "A very good job, Rusty." "Yes, indeed," said the owner, stepping out in front of Rusty. "Thanks to you, the TV company is now aware of the incidents that have happened on this railway. Mr. Matt is facing disciplinary action for his behaviour, and I sincerely doubt if he will remain with them for very long. You, Rusty, are a really useful engine." A great round of applause met this. The owner held up his hand for silence. "Not only that," he added, "but I have great pleasure in announcing that we have welcomed another new recruit to our railway. Step forward, Elizabeth Fletcher." The little engines were overjoyed to see Miss Els approach them in her worker's uniform. Elizabeth is to join our maintenance crew. With her keen eye for detail and dedication to work, I have no doubt she will perform admirably in her new role. "I've loved being here and working with you all so much," Miss Els agreed. "Besides, I needed a change, especially after all that had happened." Everyone agreed with her. A photographer positioned their drone in front of the crowd, and everyone turned to have their photo taken. They all smiled their best smiles for the pictures. But Rusty, Miss Els and Ivo Hugh's smiles were the biggest of all. Ivo Hugh was overjoyed to have Skarloey back. So were Rusty and Miss Els. But they were even more pleased about the fact that they were once again free to be themselves, regardless of what others said or thought. "Skarloey," said the owner, "would you like to say a few words for us?" Skarloey thought for a minute. Then he said, "Thank you, sir. But I think that at this time the honour should go to Rusty." The owner agreed, then turned to the little diesel. Everyone went quiet as Rusty spoke up. "Thank you, Miss Els, sirs, everyone, for your kindness and support these last few days," he said. "It is a shame that we have to encounter such people in the world who will oppose us and everything we want to be or do. But your support has helped me and Miss Els to overcome these obstacles. I can safely say that our railway is a place where all is welcome. There is, however, another little railway very much like ours. It is, of course, the Tallylyn Railway in Tywyn, Wales. I am certain that my brother Midlander, along with Tallylyn, Dolgok, and all the other engines there, will say exactly the same thing about their line. We invite everyone, no matter what their gender, race, age, sexuality, ability, or any difference at all to our line, just as they do with theirs. Please do go and visit them, everyone. When you do, please wish them dry rails and good running from all of us on the Skarloey Railway, their little old twins. And also tell them, from us, that no matter who they are, remember that everyone is welcome on both our little railways.